Today, we transport you to the quaint, picturesque regions of Colorado. Nestled between the urban buzz of Denver and the rugged wilderness of Grand Junction, thrives the tranquil town of Eagle. But beneath its serene facade lurk shadows of a bone-chilling mystery that still echoes in the heart of this peaceful community: the ominous death of Paige Birgfeld. It was a sunlit day etched in the annals of this town that Paige, a cherubic mother and bustling entrepreneur, dissolved into the very air she breathed. The mystery ran deep like an open wound. It wasn't another ordinary day, nor was it an ordinary disappearance. The last strands of her life left behind a trail drenched in dread and unanswered questions. The twisted turn of events has kept tongues wagging and minds speculating, making it one of the most haunting true crime cases in modern history. Step into the DetectiVerse, a portal that will transport you to the enigmatic realm of solved and unsolved crimes and mysteries. Brace yourself as we embark on a thrilling journey through time and space, delving into the deepest corners of the DetectiVerse. In today's video, we will creep into the shadowed corners of Birgfeld's life, carved with confusion, consumed by secrets, and finally silenced by death. We will examine the evidence, trace her last known movements, and reveal the untold story in the unwavering pursuit to piece together the tragic events that transpired on that fateful day. Paige Birgfeld was born on April 17, 1973, in Atlanta, Georgia. She was a beautiful and caring young woman known for her love of children. Her vibrant personality and willingness to go the extra mile to help others endeared her to many. However, life didn't unfold as planned for the 35-year-old. Paige pursued nursing at the University of Florida, where she met Ron Bagler, and they fell in love. After college, Paige returned to Colorado with Ron, got married, and eagerly anticipated their fresh start together. Family held great importance to Paige, and she longed for a close-knit family and children. Sadly, Ron did not share these desires, fearing the responsibilities they entailed. This difference strained their relationship, leading to their divorce in 1997. Following her divorce, Paige took a job at a strip club to make ends meet. It provided her with financial stability and introduced her to Rob Dixon, her future husband. Rob hailed from a wealthy family, and Paige admired his philanthropic nature. Additionally, he shared her dream of having children and was drawn to her beauty. They tied the knot and relocated to Grand Junction, Colorado. Life in Grand Junction seemed idyllic, as Paige and Rob enjoyed an opulent lifestyle in their million-dollar home, boasting a monthly mortgage of $6,000 along with an impressive collection of 9 supercars. Over the next 3 years, the couple welcomed 3 children into their lives. Paige adored her kids and devoted herself to their happiness and their well-being, earning her the title of a supermom. However, their joyous existence took a drastic turn when Rob's business suffered a severe setback, jeopardizing their financial stability. As their savings dwindled, Paige made the difficult decision to return to the adult industry in order to support the family. Rob's dissatisfaction with Paige's decision to return to the adult industry led to frequent arguments between the couple. Initially, these disagreements remained verbal, but over time, they escalated in severity. In one incident in 2004, Paige dialed 911, alleging that Rob had threatened to harm their children. However, when the police arrived, the couple claimed to have resolved the issue. Rob later denied making any threats, accusing Paige of orchestrating the situation. A year later, in 2005, Paige called 911 once again, reporting that Rob had physically assaulted her while she held their youngest child. Consequently, Rob faced charges of domestic violence, child abuse, and third-degree assault. Initially, he maintained his innocence, asserting that Paige had unfairly portrayed him. Eventually, he pleaded guilty, and the judge sentenced him to attend anger management programs. Following this incident, their situation continued to deteriorate. Rob declared bankruptcy, tarnishing his reputation. In the eyes of the community, his previous charitable acts became overshadowed by allegations of fraud due to his inability to fulfill financial obligations for leased equipment and services. Paige made the difficult decision to divorce Rob in 2006, despite the heartbreaking impact on her family. Rob, no longer desiring to reside in Grand Junction, relocated to the East Coast, while Paige remained behind. With Rob's bankruptcy, Paige found herself shouldering the responsibility of caring for their 3 children. Recognizing the financial strain, she sought creative solutions. Paige's love for children led her to open a dance studio specifically for kids, where she taught lessons, organized recitals, crafted costumes, and choreographed dances. It proved to be an ideal venture for her. In addition to her other ventures, Paige also ventured into selling baby slings and joined The Pampered Chef, a multi-level marketing MLM company to supplement her income. Paige often had to host parties to build networks and sell products for the MLM companies she was involved in, which made her a familiar face in the neighborhood. Through her dedication and likable personality, Paige found success as a saleswoman, allowing her to spend quality time with her children and overcome the financial burdens of her previous marriage. Unfortunately, this newfound comfort was short-lived. In 2007, Paige's worries began to consume her. She couldn't shake the feeling that someone posed a threat to her and her family. Fearful of a looming tragedy, she grew increasingly convinced that her ex-husband Rob had sinister intentions and planned to take their children away. Although her concerns were dismissed by her best friend at a pool party on June 22, 2007, Paige couldn't shake off her apprehension. She confided in others about her fears, sharing her concerns with the online Pampered Chef community and expressing her distress to friends from the Grand Junction Moms Club. Those who knew her noticed a change in her behavior. Paige's usual liveliness had faded, replaced by an air of unease and peculiar actions. On June 28, 2007, however, when Paige called her friend Andrea, she appeared cheerful and seemingly normal. During their conversation, Paige revealed her excitement about reconnecting with her first husband, Ron. She still harbored feelings for him, believing it to be fate intervening in her life. Paige met Ron in Eagle, Colorado, about midway between Grand Junction and Denver. The sun shone brightly on the day when Paige and Ron had a rendezvous after ages. Ecstatic to meet, they reveled in each other's company, shared whispering tales, and savored a serene picnic. As daylight faded into dusk, they bid farewell. Each embarked on their divergent paths, Paige returning to Grand Junction and Ron trekking towards Denver. Ron called Paige to check on her. At that moment, Paige was still navigating her journey back home, a location she, unfortunately, would never reach. So started the eerie silence, the last call, the nail-biting wait, and the nightmares that followed. Despite their efforts, the persistent ring of her children and Ron pounding on her phone met a brick wall of relentless silence. It was unanticipated, an unfamiliar scenario, as Paige was always reachable, her fingers tightly clutching her beacon of connectivity for her children. With the shadow of Paige's sudden absence engulfing them, her elder child, in sync with the in-house nanny, decided to take it upon themselves to alert the law enforcement, officially bringing the alarming circumstances to light. The police initiated their investigation by questioning Ron, who had been the last person to see Paige. Ron fully cooperated and provided a detailed account of their activities on that day. After scrutinizing his phone records, the police confirmed that he was not a suspect in Paige's disappearance. Continuing their inquiries, the police spoke with Paige's friends, uncovering her concerns regarding her second husband, Rob. As a result, the authorities reached out to Rob, who happened to be in Pennsylvania at the time and had no knowledge of Paige's situation. Upon learning of the circumstances, Rob promptly returned to be with his children. Subsequent investigations proved that Rob was not in town during the period of Paige's disappearance, leading to his clearance as a suspect. Just as the case appeared to be approaching a standstill, a breakthrough lead unexpectedly emerged, injecting new life into the investigation. On July 1, 2007, the police received a report about a burning car in a parking lot on the corner of 23 and Logos. By the time the authorities arrived at the scene, the vehicle had been completely engulfed in flames. However, upon examining the remnants of the car, the forensic team determined it belonged to Paige. This discovery immediately raised suspicions of foul play, leading the police to believe that Paige had been murdered. During the search for evidence inside the burned car, investigators noticed that the driver's seat was pushed back, indicating that someone tall had been behind the wheel. Additionally, the fire appeared to have originated from the passenger side, where Paige would have been seated. In response to these alarming findings, a massive search effort was organized on July 14, 2007, involving over 150 volunteers. They meticulously combed through the area surrounding where Paige's car was discovered. Approximately 15 miles away, the search team stumbled upon a significant discovery: Paige's personal belongings. Among the items found were her credit cards, checkbook, and business cards. However, Paige herself remained missing, evading their search efforts. Upon retrieving Paige's belongings, the police made a startling revelation. It was discovered that Paige had been involved in offering escort services under an alias, Carrie. Sometimes she would meet clients at their locations, while other times she would bring them to her office. In fact, she had even established her own escort company called Models, incorporated in 2005. This revelation came as a shock to those who were aware of Paige's past involvement in stripping. They had assumed that it was part of her history and not an ongoing activity. Paige now led a fairly public life, attending parties, teaching dance classes, and engaging in other activities. The revelation of her involvement in the escort service was unexpected. The authorities faced significant challenges in determining the circumstances surrounding Paige's disappearance. Her covert lifestyle added layers of complexity to the investigation. They delved into her phone records and conducted interviews with some of her clients, but their efforts yielded no breakthroughs. Weeks passed, with the search continuing, yet no suspects, clues, or viable theories emerged regarding what might have transpired. The investigation had reached a frustrating impasse. In their desperate attempts to make progress, the police enlisted the help of search dogs to scour the area where Paige's car was found. One of the dogs picked up a scent that led them to a store across the street, where they encountered a man named Lester Jones, the store manager. It came to light that Paige and Lester were acquainted, although she had always been wary of him and refused his advances as a client. Armed with this information, the police honed in on Lester as a new suspect, prompting them to conduct a background check. During their investigation, the police discovered Lester's prior criminal record, which included physical abuse against his ex-wife and a stint in prison. Further searches of Lester's residence yielded Viagra pills, escort-related materials, and sexually oriented articles. It became evident that Lester harbored an obsession with sex. However, no evidence linking him directly to Paige was found. Nevertheless, the police stumbled upon records of calls made from a burner phone to Paige's phone. Additionally, they obtained CCTV footage capturing Lester purchasing a burner phone. When the authorities analyzed the contents of Lester's burner phone, they discovered that he had made 5 calls to Paige on the day she went missing. Based on these developments, the police brought Lester in for questioning and requested permission to search his vehicles. Although the vehicle inspection yielded no significant findings, Lester's behavior during the interaction raised suspicions. When informed that he would need to collect his cars the following day, Lester made unsettling remarks about where one might conceal a body. Despite accumulating a series of suspicious pieces of evidence, the police could not press charges against Lester due to the absence of Paige's body. The investigation remained in a frustrating state of uncertainty. As the years passed, the investigation into Paige's disappearance grew cold, and hopes of finding answers began to fade. However, in 2012, a hiker made a grim discovery on a trail in Delta County: a body. The body was later identified as Paige through dental records. The forensic team determined that Paige had been brutally beaten to death, evident from her fractured jawbone and skull that had been duct taped. Despite the passage of time, suspicion still lingered around Lester. His previous criminal record, suspicious behavior with the police, burner phone records, and unsettling fixation on Paige contributed to the lingering doubts. In November 2014, the police finally charged Lester with the murder and kidnapping of Paige Birgfeld. Surprisingly, when Lester was arrested, he displayed no surprise, almost as if he had been expecting it. He subsequently cooperated with the authorities. Lester's bail was set at $2 million, and his trial began in July 2016, 9 years after Paige's disappearance and murder. Testifying against Lester, his ex-wife spoke of his violent tendencies and capacity for murder. However, The defense countered these claims, citing the lack of physical evidence directly linking Lester to Paige's murder. After 22 days of trial, the jury failed to reach a verdict, resulting in a mistrial being declared. Undeterred, the prosecutor sought a retrial, which commenced on November 21, 2016. In this second trial, the prosecution presented additional evidence. CCTV footage captured a white Chevy Impala circling Paige's office, and although Lester did not own such a vehicle, it was revealed to be his wife's car, which the police were able to prove. Just before Christmas in 2016, the jury delivered a verdict of guilt against Lester. He was convicted on charges of first-degree murder, felony murder, second-degree murder, and kidnapping. As a result, Lester received a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The case finally reached a conclusion, providing a measure of justice for Paige and her loved ones. After nearly a decade, Paige's family and friends finally found some semblance of closure. However, it remains deeply heartbreaking for her children to grow up without their mother. Paige had been the epitome of a devoted soccer mom, always present for her children and going above and beyond to support them and provide them with the life they deserved. Meanwhile, Lester Jones continues to serve his prison sentence. He is currently appealing for parole, arguing that his conviction is primarily based on circumstantial evidence. Lester maintains that there is no physical proof linking him to the crime. Did police apprehend the right guy? Or is there someone else out there lurking in the shadows? Let us know your thoughts down below.